Hey guys, Gibe here from CryptoSlate. Today we have got a very special guest talking about gaming within Web3 and hopefully some special insights into the new Zilliqa gaming console. So stay with us, we'll be right back. Hello, hello, hello. Okay, I'm going to bring Valentin in with us now. How are you doing?
Hi, happy to be here. I'm enjoying another nice day in developing a lot of stuff that I'm sure
Very
gonna talk
cool. So
about it.
you're the head of gaming technology at Zilliqa at the moment. There's
Yes,
obviously a lot going on in the Zilliqa ecosystem. I definitely want to touch on the console. I know you said there's a lot more going on.
yep,
So go on. You said there's some changes in the works when we were just offline before. Do you want to give us a bit of an insight into what's happening? You said you're building a lot of
yes,
stuff.
yes. We are preparing basically the gaming part of Zilliqa to become an independent company, but in the ecosystem of Zilliqa, of course, part of the group, part of the same system, the same ecosystem that other businesses are like that. The best example I think is Metropolis. But
Hmm.
in the same sense, we're gonna do this thing now for the gaming component, the gaming business unit of Zilliqa. This is why in the past weeks we've been in very strong discussions with many investors because we
Hmm.
want to attract funds and to do something extremely nice in respect to gaming on blockchain. And I'm gonna tell you a bit later on why I keep saying gaming on blockchain and not I don't use the Web3 gaming syntax because it is a nice play of words, but it has a lot to that in respect to the way we are building all the products, most
Hmm.
being games or related to games.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I've been talking to a lot of people in the gaming space at the moment. I'm a gamer myself, you probably see from my background,
Yes.
and I find it a fascinating space, and it's amazing how far it's come. Like in the last 6 months, we've gone from kind of click to earn to genuine like ownership models using blockchain for gameplay that's actually fun to play. Is that the future you see as well? Is that what you're talking
No,
about when
no,
you're saying?
no, not click to earn. Definitely not
No,
click.
so that's what I mean. The gameplay focused, where it's about solving
Um,
a problem for gamers, where it's owning their
yeah,
own assets.
I'll give you the best example ever that as also a gamer, and I really love the fact that you're a gamer. Remember back in the 90s, the 2000, when you bought the game, you had many hours to enjoy for that specific amount that you paid. Let's say $20,
Mhm.
$50, whatever you paid for a game. You had enough entertainment to do for that amount of money. Then the things changed to buy a game or download something that is free to play and some content. We had fun with that, but then some of the content that you really wanted to interact with had to be paid for. And then I think the dark ages came, which we are in the regular gaming dark ages where the big franchises are failing to deliver top quality like we are used to. I'm not going to mention any shooter from the past or any driving racing car game from the past that was super nice and now it's I don't want to say the adjective on that, but it's not okay in respect to you need to pay more to have more fun, to have access to, I don't know, your player to run faster or to have more nitro by paying with real money. I do like the grinding to play more to unlock stuff, but even that is not working lately. That would be one bad example that I want to put on the table. The second one, in respect to most of the gaming platforms, where maybe you are a good player or a decent player, you do unlock a lot of skins in all the games that you own in those platforms, but you are not able to do anything else with the assets there. You just own them, or you have something that they call currency or even dollars. They call them in that so-called platform for games. I give you an example on Steam. I think I'm one
Hmm.
of the top richest fellows on Steam in respect to how much assets I have there or currency. But that's virtual. Those are only pixels. Those are nothing. It's fake. It's not real. And this is where I think the Web3 gaming comes in hand and comes to add value to the games By having a blockchain-based wallet, or where everything that you earn in respect to the games you played in that ecosystem are either NFTs or tokens, that at the end of the day you can sell them out and do an off-ramp with all those assets and put them on your credit card. And then you go and buy groceries, you go buy whatever you want, and that gives the sense for your entertainment. That gives you the real feeling that play to earn or skill to earn, actually, that it's what we do here at Zilliqa, is the future. I mean, in the beginning you paid to have access to fun. Now you are playing to earn stuff. So I think this transition comes natural in the way that, hey, if I'm a good player, I want to make real money. If I'm a decent player, I want to make some decent money. But if I'm just a casual gamer, you should have fun also, but maybe you're not going to do that much earning. Still, I think it will be the best platform what we are building here at Zilliqa. I mean, for people to say, okay, I can earn money because I'm playing good. I can become a better player because I'm being incentivized. I'm being rewarded with real things. You can go then buy groceries, pay the bills, do whatever, put gas in the car with the money from all the NFTs that you can make by selling them in the platform. And this is one of the things that we are building here at Zilliqa, I think.
You mentioned Steam, and I think like what was it, like 6-7 years ago when they banned kind of OP skins and the equivalent sites? Like there used to be a method of off ramping your items, and they completely killed that. Do you think that was a mistake by Steam? Do you think
Definitely.
and why do you think they did it?
They had to do it because there were a lot of scammers. There are a lot of issues in respect to having real life assets like money or whatever you can translate basically the virtual assets through. But at the end of the day, I don't think it's fair for a very good player. Think about all the streamers on Twitch that have a decent pool of players and they are very good at playing that. They do get paid by the streaming platform, but at the end of the day, with whatever they gain in their so-called wallet on their inventory, they cannot pull it back from there to their credit card and do some real stuff with them. I don't think that's good. Or even, let's say, not even the streamer, even a hardcore player that really has the time or he or she enjoys to play a lot of games. At the end of the day, you only consume electrical current, right? You have the fun, but no real earning. You do have a nice inventory on Steam. This applies to most of the platforms that we have now available on the market. But that's Web 2.0 games. While what the Web3 games are doing, and I don't think they are doing it properly at this moment, is they are helping you move the virtual assets in the real world. And this is where I came in the picture. And many others are the same, that I'm coming from a strong software development background for about 20 years plus, not only in gaming, but also in embedded software and hardware. And then I switched to gaming because it's much more fun to do products that have a direct customer that really interacts with your product, with your solution that you create. And then I said, okay, let's build the games on the blockchain in this way. We build first the game, we think about what is fun, what the player wants to do, what's entertaining, what's nice for a game to be called a game. And then we add some components around the blockchain that makes it worth it have this saying, games on blockchain, to have the blockchain as a technology to defend you, your wallet, and your assets there, so you're not being hacked or people are stealing stuff from there. So in that respect, what I do here at Zilliqa, I created basically, currently in execution, we have 2 games, the Web3 war game and another one called, it's a survival game. Plus, and you said about spoilers, I have prepared in the pipeline an additional of 8 games covering MOBA games, covering racing games, covering arena-based games. You name it, we have it, except sports games. Because of the licensing, I said, let's not touch that yet. Who knows in the future what will happen on that part. But currently, we are planning to do a lot of genres because I want to cover as much as possible in the ecosystem. And just to say to the market, hey, we know how to do games on all these sites. We do have the tools already, because basically I started creating the tools first because I wrote any lines of code for any of these 2 games that are now in full production, because you need tools. It's like the foundation of a house. You start with the foundation, the tools, and then you build the house on top of that. This was the thinking that I had when I started with the SDKs, with the Unity SDK 6 months ago, and soon enough we're going to start the Unreal SDK, because I want to enlarge not only Unity but also Unreal to be covered. So we build the tools, we are building the games currently, and I'm hiring like crazy on that side. And then I said, okay, but I need a marketplace. I need a launcher. I need a community hub for the people. So creating a gaming hub, quite similar a bit, not in respect to content, but in respect to functionality that we see in Steam, in Epic Games, in Battle.net, and so on. It was a no-brainer to do it, and we need that. Well, I think the Web3 community, in respect to gaming, needs a place to have everything in one place. Like we need that place. I'm sorry, to have all this all together. And this is why I think companies like Valve that make Steam have succeeded. They made 1-2 games, right? They have the Half-Life, then the model Counter-Strike, the Dota 2, and some variants of this, plus the hub, and then they become like a publisher. This is my goal, of course, in respect to game development, is to become a publisher and to support other indie developers or other studios to make their own games, and ask to assist them in respect to technology, in respect to tokenomics, in respect to marketing, because we also have, let's say, the esports team. We have a lot of experience in creating great tokenomics. So we can easily become publishers, but until we say, hey, we know how to do all this stuff, we need all these 10 games that I mentioned to be really rolling on the market. We are starting with a low poly shooter that it's intentionally done as a low poly shooter because I want mobile, I want Windows, I want Mac, I want Linux also, and also the console that you've seen in the announcement last week.
Oh wow, it's there.
I just had to plug it out from I still have some of the dongles in it. I just had to plug it out of the development computer because we are still working on it. There are things to be done. So covering this whole thing, tools, games, platform, console, we have the whole ecosystem in respect to gaming. Yeah, we need to increase it. We need more players. Yeah,
but what made you decide to actually go down the console route? Because I mean, that's a very competitive market. What's the goal there? Are you looking to compete with PlayStation, Xbox? What's the goal?
But I'm not competing with them for 2 reasons. My gaming console doesn't do only games. It also comes with services and features like mining. So when you don't play on the console is going to mine ZIL tokens, the Zilliqa tokens for you. So when you wake up in the morning, if you choose to let it mine, of course, you're going to have in your wallet that is built in the console, you're going to have more ZIL tokens to buy more assets or buy things like a battle pass or a game that you like or more skins. We don't even use internally the word NFT. We just say skins, because at the end of the day, for the regular player, those are just skins that you can sell for real money at the end of the day directly in the Gaming Hub marketplace, which Gaming Hub runs natively on the console. There's no.
And you've got. I think one of the most interesting things I read in the announcement was so the inbuilt wallet, sort of setting it up so that you've got that. For me, I've been talking sort of privately with some of my friends and stuff about the console and some miners. And for me, I really like the concept that it's kind of the way to onboard Web2 users. And even if we onboard 10,000 new gamers through the console, I don't know what numbers you're looking to sell of it, but that would be a massive win, because like if you get them in and they start playing, the community then grows. So for me, it's about that frictionless experience, because downloading a MetaMask, all that stuff is difficult. So explain to me a little bit of how the inbuilt wallet works in terms of the UX, or if you've got that far yet.
Perfect. I'll do it like this, like a step back from the moment you get the console running, right? Or even the Gaming Hub, because the wallet it's at Gaming Hub level, which Gaming Hub runs on the console, right? So you get the Gaming Hub or the console, you start them up. For the first time, you need to register the usual way: username, password, and email. Once you finish that, you just get a very nice pop-up saying, hey, your inventory is well protected on our extremely mature blockchain called Zilliqa. So don't lose your password or your email or your username, because your assets are well secured on that wallet, on our blockchain. From that moment on, we're not going to use anything in respect to blockchain. Yes, we're going to have some tutorials for anybody that can read or learn about that more, but I think it will be less than 25% people that will be curious to know, because if it works, nobody will going to look under the hood. They're just going to say, hey, I have a new skin, I want to sell it. I go there, I click that, I put the price, boom. Maybe somebody buys it, I make the money directly in the built-in wallet for my account. How the wallet works, basically each account that a user creates in the Gaming Hub So in the console, it's linked to that account. Yes, you can have more wallets, you can have more accounts or more wallets, but they are strictly linked to the hardware you are working with. Even if it's your Windows PC or if it's your console, you can have even at that level more wallets. But if you keep swapping between them, you'll need basically to move assets from one wallet to the other for whatever reason. But there's not going to be a big gain from that, because we want players to have one account and one wallet to do all the crazy stuff and earn whatever they play and whatever they transaction on the marketplace in that specific wallet. And
so I want to jump on one thing there that seems interesting. You said it will be tied to the hardware.
Yes, for the console, yes, it will be tied to the hardware. Of course, you can log out and log into a new account and create a new account. That moment, yes.
So is there a way? So then, would people still be able to export the private keys to a different hardware? Are you saying that somehow you've linked the wallet so it will only work on that hardware?
Yes, we have a very nice backend where we don't keep the private key. We only have a hash generated with the private key, but we don't have access to your private key. That's yours. That's why it's called private key. It's all yours. It's not being stored anywhere but on the hardware you are using the device. But the idea is not to swap the accounts. Why would you do that? If you want to, let's say, transaction something from one wallet to the other wallet through the marketplace, you're going to have some additional fees there that we need to add them in place, because it represents for us on the back end, on the blockchain side, a lot of security layers that we added in respect not to get stolen. Because basically, from a blockchain perspective, actually, you just see one wallet transactioning things to another wallet, right? And we had to add a lot of in between security to ensure that that's really what it's supposed to be. Like, you are the owner of those wallets and you want to move the things, and it's not a hacker that hacked one of your wallets and want to push stuff in his own wallet. So from that perspective, we added a lot of security in order to operate all that security layers, not only for this kind of transactions, but as an overall. There are some costs for us, and as a business, very small ones that we need to add on top of the whole thing. So we need people to understand that it's the same way like with PlayStation or Xbox. You have only one account there, right? Or two maybe. But once you start unlocking things, why would you make more accounts? That would be not so logical from a gamer perspective, from a user perspective. Maybe from a crypto guy perspective, you say, yeah, I want to have more wallets for whatever reason. We are even thinking to have this possibility that on one account, one user account, to have more wallets. But this is a long shot idea that we are now exploring and researching.
I think it's fascinating. I'm thinking more from a security point of view than a multi-user point of view. So does that mean that the wallet almost acts like a cold storage wallet, with it being tied to the hardware?
Yep.
That's cool.
Yep.
That's very cool.
If you think about a Web3 company, and I dare a lot of people to come back to me and troll me on Twitter or LinkedIn, how many companies do games, user accounts, hardware wallets, and mining in the same ecosystem? Well, we are
cool, man. I like it. I like it. So tell me a little bit more about the mining, because I know that there's miners that watch our content that are interested in that. Is it anything proprietary? Is it got any? Is it boosted in any way, or is it the same as running?
This is the cool thing. The mining process at this very moment, we call it mining 1.0. Anybody can do it on any devices, especially on Linux and Windows. You can do that out of the box. You get your Windows machine or your Linux machine. I think it's an Ubuntu tutorial that we have already on our website. You get all the software, you have all the headache to set up all that there. Boom, you just specify the wallet address and you get the ZIL tokens once they're being mined in your wallet. But the console, the way I've seen it, is as a feature provider. You're almost a service provider in respect to the mining. You don't need to know anything about blockchain or MetaMask or what a smart contract is or whatever in respect to crypto world. You just need to have the console, you have your account, you tick the automatic mining when you don't play on it, and that happens out of the box. You just need to leave it away, plugged in, powered up, of course, and the mining process happens out of the box. This is the experience that I want to give to the users. And this is why I rushed in a bit, because I care about the software part to be properly done. And this is why this box, as you see it in my hand here, it's an off-the-shelf. You can go on many websites on internet and buy it. Well, I chose this one not because of the nice Z logo that resembles Zilliqa and the coloring and so on, but because of the hardware that is inside. It has an NVIDIA, the 1650 Ti NVIDIA. It has an Intel i9 CPU. a lot of RAM, a lot of SSD. On some websites, we can even customize the hardware inside of it. But I only did this in respect to go on the market and have the ability to focus on the software, because that's the blocking point, not the hardware. Then I can even take a laptop, any computer basically. I can turn that like in a console. But I wanted something in a small factor with not so much power consumption that can have these two aspects: a strong CPU and an NVIDIA GPU, because of the mining process that involves specifically what NVIDIA does extremely well. So this was the direction when I choose this hardware. And
so it will mine equivalent to a 1650 Ti on a PC then, because it's the same hardware.
Exactly. But what I did, I hacked a bit the NVIDIA drivers to be a bit more focused on the mining and at the same time on the gaming. So when you do either gaming or mining on the GPU, things happen much better. This is why even for the gaming side, I get very nice FPS numbers in respect to 4K or 2K resolutions, or even 1440p. That's crazy. That's out of the box a minimum of 60 FPS, but I did like 140, 160 already, because I wanted high performance. And this is why my embedded, I think my embedded experience come in hand and said, okay, I can make better FPS, I can make better performance in the same stuff, because at the end of the day, the blocking point, the bottleneck was the software, not the hardware itself. Yes, we're going to have our own form factor. Form factor means how the box looks and behaves. Internally, I can even want something in the third generation from NVIDIA, like a 3070, or maybe the fourth generation that are going to come up in the next month or so. This is only a prototype for us in respect to the hardware, but the full focus for the dev team, myself included, of course, is the software part. We have all these solutions prepared, built in the software. So when the real device will be done, you just press a button, you punch in your details to log in or to register, boom, you have that available there out of the box.
I'm super excited. I'm not gonna lie. I'm
Thank
super
you.
excited. So you mentioned that Metropolis. So is that going to be a part of the console experience when the console's out?
Not for the first years. Metropolis is not something that I'm looking into, for many not business reasons, but for many technical reasons. That my focus is not on Metropolis. It's a different business unit. It's not under myself, so we are not focusing that part of the story.
Okay. So, but in the press release, it said there's going to be 2 games. You mentioned one's going to be a low poly shooter, and the other's a driving game. Did you say?
Survival.
Survival game.
The second one is a survival. You can go on YouTube, just go Zilliqa Gaming. You can find all the videos from the survival game. Still, that game is in alpha. There are many things there to be done, but already very strong development, already very good performance on the console, on a decent level of a gaming computer that you might have. I'm again focusing a lot on optimizing the games, so they work extremely well on any computers that you might have. Not necessarily this survival game will run on mobile, because maybe on an iPad Pro or a latest Samsung tablet, because you do need a lot of computing power, especially on the graphics side, because I'm using 4K resolution textures and even 8K resolution textures, because I go in the nature, I go in a city, I do a lot of pictures, real life pictures. I use a nice tool that I developed some years ago to create from that textures that can be easily applied on 3D models in the games that we are building. Of course, that doesn't apply to the low poly game, right?
Are you making a controller?
Here comes another punch story from our side, from my side. I don't want in the beginning to sell any plastics or copper, because I want, if you are a gamer, most likely you have a nice looking PlayStation controller, or an Xbox controller, or even a Nintendo controller, and the console is gonna go out of the box on the with that. So yeah, there you go. I think
there's
you like
always
that
one
more.
within reach.
You are used to the way it feels, the way where the buttons are being structured, the way the buttons are being put on that controller. So I'm making now out of the box support for any controller, main controllers that we have, like PlayStation 4, 5, Xbox, and so on. Because it's a hassle now to work with a manufacturer to make new hardware. Not the integration part is the problem. But why would I push now, as I said, new plastic and copper? I mean, I let that to the big boys to do it for the moment. Maybe in the future, if we really see a huge demand, or we need some features on the controller to have that, of course we're gonna make that as a controller.
I think that's quite a good decision. Obviously, from a marketing drive, you can play
Yes.
the whole the Apple thing of, oh, we're not giving you a charger anymore because everyone's got one.
There we go. And
I get that. But also, like, controls are so divisive, aren't they? Like, over everything else, getting one thing wrong on a controller or changing something is going to create
yeah,
a lot of debate on Reddit.
exactly. If you remember back in the 90s, most of the consoles that failed, they failed not necessarily because of the console itself, but the controller. Because you as a player interact more with the controller. So if you don't feel that right in your hand while playing, well, you're not gonna enjoy the console anymore.
I was trying to see, you can't quite see it, but literally behind my chair is my N64 in one of the things with the, you remember this, I loved that controller at the time. I have no idea why, because playing back on it now, it's horrendous. But at the
Yes,
time,
but
like,
at that
GoldenEye was
moment it was
amazing
top
with
notch. It was top shelf at that moment in respect to what was before the specific
it.
controller. I don't want to compete, and I'm not competing with PlayStation and Xbox. They have a huge ecosystem. They have a lot of years of experience in creating not only the console, but the ecosystem itself by adding content, by adding services around their products. Cannot compete with Sony. Who can compete with Sony? Yeah, Microsoft tries that now, right? A bit with the new acquisitions of Activision. And that's bold. To get a title, to get some titles to add them on your consoles, maybe. I'm not sure as exclusive titles. Of course, and I was asked on Twitter, of course, we're going to have some titles, at least for the first months or years, to be exclusive to the console. But at the end of the day, I want everybody to play, no matter what kind of computer or console they have or mobile. I want most of the people to be able to play the games and the products that we are doing. And for the console, we spoke about services. One of the things that I want to do with the console is to add services like streaming, both ways. Like you want to listen to your favorite radios, and we are in very strong discussions with a radio provider, a streaming radio provider. I want to do out of the box streaming on YouTube or on Twitch. Maybe you don't know how to set up your camera or your microphone. I do a nice setup, a nice user-friendly experience to set up your camera, your microphone, your keyboard and mouse. Off you go. Punch in your Twitch or YouTube account, and there you go. You are a streamer now. Think about children. Think about non-technical people that want to do streaming because maybe they are talented at something, not necessarily gaming, but maybe they know how to sing guitar or guitar, and they want to do a stream. They don't know how to do all the setup, all the hustle. Boom, I come with a solution. I identify this problem. And these are only like two ideas that are actually under development inside the dev team at this moment. Don't expect that to be available this year. The console is not going to be available this year. This is why, again, I'm using an off-the-shelf, an aftermarket device so I can focus on the software, on the services, on the features that I want to have there. Because at the end of the day, yes, it is just a computer that is an Intel-based CPU computer, like any computers in the world that you have, and we are doing now the streaming on it. But the features that I want to bring is what we are focusing currently. Hardware optimizations should be a bit later in the day because it's not an ARM, it's not a custom CPU, it's not a custom GPU, so that doesn't involve too much hassle for me to adapt the software that I'm building. So this is why we did this decision, and I got told about that a lot.
What does success look like for you with this project?
With all projects, many installations of the gaming hub, many players on the games that we are building. With the console, I'm thinking it about Q2 to be ready, at least for pre-ordering. Doing hardware is not easy, as I said. I don't have a hard number to give you, but to have at least 1,000 gaming hub installations and few hundreds of active users in the first 3 months, that it's something I'm looking forward. With only one game, think about that. But on the long shot, maybe the 1 million mark of players, I don't know, in 4 or 5 years to have 1 million installations from which I know hundreds of thousands of people are actively playing the games in this ecosystem. Then I can look about daily active users. Then I can look at monthly unique active users or at transactions that happen in the marketplace, because the marketplace is basically blockchain transactions. So I can look at these numbers, but now I don't have a hard number because we need to open up the closed beta events, which happens for the Web3 world for the low poly shooter next week. And each week, each Friday, we're going to do an open event where everybody can join. I initially said I'm going to be a closed event with only like a few hundred people, But we had so many people already, even this week, saying, hey, I want to join. I said, hey, look, we're going to open up the event for everybody. So in October, each Friday, around noon UK time, everybody can download the gaming hub, have the game, and start playing for free with everybody.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah,
and that's basically going to be a preview into what the console is going to be like, really, isn't it?
The console is not involved in that because now it's about the gaming hub as a software. You don't have the console, right, to play on it. You play on your computer. You have your Windows.
But the software is going to be similar to what's in the console, right?
Straightforward, exactly same experience. In that respect, exactly same experience. Exactly the reason why I started with the low poly shooter, because I wanted the same experience on mobile, on Windows, on Mac, on Linux, on the console, and not to have, like, I'm not going to mention other shooters that have a totally different game on the mobiles, a totally different game on the desktop computers.
Like PUBG, for instance, that would be a prime example. Yeah.
Imagine grinding and having one great, very rare skin on one of the accounts. You cannot move that.
From one one's Tencent, one is PUBG. So
yeah,
like there's two different companies. Even it's just that IP. Do you have any idea of ballpark price of what it's going to be looking at when it comes out?
The console, you mean? This is the part. Well, if we would sell an aftermarket product, an off-the-shelf, that's very expensive. We need to buy huge volume to lower down the price. But once we're gonna go to a manufacturer to create our own console in our own terms and whatever we want to do at that level, I think it will be somewhere around like £600. Still, I'm thinking for like Apple does, an Air version and then a Pro version, so we can split a bit the way we are positioning the product on the market. Because I need this differentiation, because otherwise people will say, I cannot spend, I don't know, give you a weird number, £800 for a computer, for a console that does only these games, while I can buy a nice laptop and do a bit more than that. Right, so I have to split a bit the product in two. For the moment, I'm thinking about two variants of the same stuff. But of course, the computing power will be different from one to the other.
Yeah, and obviously, not having a controller allows you to keep the price down a bit more as well, don't it? Because I mean, like these things are like $100 or something.
Plus, yeah, usually, yes. And then if it's a white color or something with a cameo on it, even more. This is the reason. Price-wise, we had to think about the way to go easily on the market and not to really affect the budget of a gamer. And I say gamer with all my heart because I'm focusing the gamers, and not necessarily the crypto guys. They are there, of course. But I'm also thinking about the gamers, the regular Joe that wants to play a game and earn at the end of the day the stuff that he got rewarded with or she got rewarded with. That's the main focus in the end of the day.
I'm super excited. I can't wait to hear more. I think the betas are going out in the end of this year. I think you said that's the sort of the goal, and then you're looking Q2 maybe for pre-order next year.
Yes.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much for joining us today. We'll end the show here, but yeah, can't wait to hear more. Andy, say for anyone, if you missed a little bit further back, every Friday you'll be able to, in October, download and play in the gaming hub and experience what the Zilliqa ecosystem's like. I, for one, will definitely be there. I hope to see you guys all there too. So for this episode of SlateCast, I will see you guys next time.
Thank you.